With an unparalleled and unmatched legacy, Silent Hill 2 Remake had some huge shoes to fill. And starting the early part of this year, a lot of people were met with extreme skepticism. And who could blame them? I mean, Konami hadn't basically done anything with the IP the last decade, and Bloober Team was working on it. Their track record is, alright at best. So, a lot of people were right to be skeptical, including the early gameplay show this year, which didn't leave people and put them at ease. And a lot of people were expecting to come in here and find, well, what you see here on the screen. But sometimes, once in a while, you'll reach into something, you think you're going to pull out a big pile of shit. But once in a while, you might be surprised. And that's where we are here today. Because what was waiting at the end of the tunnel is something that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. Not even by a mile. Maybe it would be alright, but this was not to be predicted. A broke clock is right twice a day, people, but make no mistake about it. It is that right time of the day. This is Silent Hill 2 Remake. What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back here with some Silent Hill 2 Remake. And today I'm going to give you my impressions and my review on the recent release survival horror game. There's a lot riding on this game. Not just for it to be good, but to also bring Silent Hill back. Because it needs to be brought back. And for me personally, for the sake of the survival horror genre itself, I just feel like there's so many AAA survival horror games just not succeeding financially. So while it was nice to see good reviews from other outlets, I wanted to see what gamers thought. So now I give you my takes. And guys, I'm going to be straightforward with you. I'm stunned. I'm stunned by how good this is. Like, I was thinking maybe it could be decent, alright. That's not what we got here. I am absolutely flabbergasted by how amazing this is. This game is like a love letter to the original Silent Hill 2 in many shapes and forms. The thing that ultimately got me won over to this game, and I think it absolutely nails more than anything else, is the sound. The sound in this game, whether it's just from the music, the ambience, or just that static radio constantly going off, or how the enemies move, hearing their slithering, regardless of what it may be, the music is so dead on in this game. Now, this game already has an excellent atmosphere, and that'd be great on its own. But with this sound, it is absolutely top tier without a shadow of a doubt. I'll tell you this right now, one of my greatest feelings in any survival horror game is the feeling of never being comfortable. And that's one thing I liked about this game a lot, is I never got comfortable, and the biggest reason why was because of the sound department. Whether it was the great soundtracks being played, or just certain sound effects, or that radio. And by the way, hearing that thing blaring through your PS5 controller, that static, oh man, it got me so many times where I was just always on edge. Even though I could hear it, sometimes you just couldn't see it where it was coming from. Or sometimes they would pull what I like to call the yoke-doke on you and just get you with the 1-2 skidoo, and you're basically on the floor wondering what the hell just hit me. But nonetheless, the sound really was great. And another thing I want to point to you guys, wear headphones. It will make your experience so much better. It will make it so much more impactful and immersive. So I highly recommend doing the headphones if you do have them. But let's get outside the sound department, because there's other great things in this game. But I just want to get that right off the thing. The sound is absolutely phenomenal and amazing in this game. The atmosphere is absolutely phenomenal. Whether you're walking the foggy streets of Silent Hill, or inside one of the apartments, or wherever you might be in the other world, it is definitely a sight for the eyes, and you're always on edge, and each scenery just paints a different emotion, something that really is conveyed. As I said, combined with the already excellent music, it just really puts that really depressing, dark, claustrophobic, disgusting environment, and I absolutely love it. As I said before, you never quite settle in and get comfortable. Even when you start to figure out some of the tools, tricks to the trade, you always feel like they're throwing some type of sidewind or curveball at you, and you can never relax. And that's one thing I definitely love about this game, because you never want to feel comfortable, and this game does anything but make you feel comfortable at all. There's so many areas to explore, even a lot more than the original one. So I'm always felt the need to just go back and try to explore every cranny. And even me playing it a few times, I still have so many places where I don't feel like I've naturally explored. So there's a lot of free roaming you can do, a lot of buildings you couldn't really enter before, a lot of places you can go. But ultimately, as much as it creeped me out, it excited me at the same time, because I always felt like there was so much more I could find, discover. And I feel like the more I play this game, I discover things I didn't necessarily know the first time around, and that's an excellent feeling to have in a survival horror game. One of the cool parts I do like in this game is that when you do find something that's a point of interest, as soon as it's noticed by James, he'll write it down on his little map, and you'll always have that. And by the way, that map, you're going to be pulling it out a lot. So sound, atmosphere, presentation, everything basically checks out. But there's two really big key components that a lot of people have been worried about ever since this game was first revealed. So I figured I'd save them for the latter part of this video. So let's start with one of the first ones a lot of people were worried about. Is the combat. Now, in the OG Silent Hill 2, combat was never really good, and for good reason. You're not playing as a trained agent or soldier, you're just playing as a normal guy. So it needs to feel kind of rough, ragged, like it's desperate, like your desperation to stay alive, to live to fight another day. So it never feels smooth. And I will be happy to say, and this may have even surprised me more than anything else, is that I absolutely love the melee aspect of the combat. Basically, you have a dodge button. And the dodge button, there's more of a rock, paper, scissors thing going on. And what I mean by that is that you'll be fighting an enemy, and you just can't blindly keep swinging, because eventually they're going to swing and hit you, or sometimes they might counter you. You got to know how the enemies move, learn their patterns, and be able to, you hit once and dodge, you hit twice and dodge, you think you get a third hit, or do you have to dodge 3 straight times? Based on their patterns and movements, you got to be able to figure this out, and there's a lot more skill and strategy involved in it, because if you don't, it may force you to waste your precious ammunition or take some health supplies away from you while you heal yourself. So you got to figure it out, and as you play more through the game, you start to learn the patterns of the enemies, and sometimes it gets a little difficult when you got more than one in a room. So while you do have options to run, sometimes it's maybe to your best interest to fight and get rid of them. But overall, I feel like it still has that same desperation, especially when you hear the exasperated sounds of James just trying to stay alive, especially when he gets outnumbered and he's getting attacked from all sides. I feel like the melee combat really has a lot more to do with strategy and just getting good and getting that experience over time in order to dodge enemies and avoid them, and then being able to hit them without wasting health supplies or wasting your precious ammunition. So overall, I never felt overpowered. It felt just right. So I give a thumbs up to the melee, which I really think makes this game. There's a lot of options in this game, from the gameplay, display, audio, controls, the text. There's a lot of accessibility in this game, so a lot of people can change the game the way they want to, whether they want to change how the icons look, the HUD, the colors, even the graphics, and some things that help other people out as well. As I said, there's a lot of options, and as I said, that's a great thing to have. So a lot of people are going to be able to play this game and interact and change it the way they personally want to see fit. Not just in the difficulty, but also the puzzles also have a difficulty meter as well, as you can change both whenever you want. So if you do like puzzles not that challenge you too much, you can also have the easier ones. But if you want ones that challenge you, you can raise up the meter. And I do like the options there, because obviously in survival horror games you got to have options, and having options not just in the difficulty of the game but the puzzles is a nice little touch there. But now we get to the next big thing that I know a lot of people were personally worried about, and that is the story and characters. And I will say this right now, I have absolutely no problem with how the story and characters were presented in the remake. Are there a few deviations? Yes. But I don't think anything detracts from the main purpose. I think all the characters are fully fleshed out, fully realize. If you like the OG or prefer them, that's fine. If you like the remake and prefer them, that's fine too. But I don't think either one detracts from the other. I think it was nice to see it from a little bit different perspective. They all go to the same ending point as it is, but they just go about it a little bit differently. But overall, I enjoyed the whole story. The characters were well done. I think it's something that both fans, old and new, will ultimately like, and I think it will ultimately bridge the gap between the two so that we can have an even bigger audience for Silent Hill for future games that come out. As I said before, I did like a lot of the things they added, even hints and callbacks from the original as well. So there's both for new and old alike, and that's what I like. I never felt like it disrespected the original, but I also felt like it also tried to do its own thing in a few other areas, and I'm 100% all for that. So overall, the two biggest things that a lot of people were skeptical or a little worried about, I think honestly they nailed both of them, because I don't really have a big major arching problem. I mean, you might be able to have a few nitpicks for a few personal things, but I didn't really have any personal things that really hurt me personally. So overall, my experience was absolutely amazing. And that's the point I'm trying to make here, is that this isn't a good game. This is an excellent game. This is an excellent remake, and one that I feel is going to be looked back upon as just one of the top tiers. The way people look at Resident Evil Remake or Resident Evil 4 Remake is how they're going to look at this game, because it's absolutely phenomenal. Not to mention with all the replayability, with them adding more endings than the original 6, which are still there as well. You have a total of 8 endings, so there's a lot of replayability to go back and see things. So do I recommend this game? Absolutely. I highly recommend it. Seriously, go out there and buy it right now. You will not regret it. If you are someone who's never played Silent Hill before, time to jump in right now to get into the franchise, and maybe even possibly give the older games a try as well. If you are an OG Silent Hill fan, I think you'll be happy here. I think it gives the best of both worlds and gives a satisfying performance while also adding some new things and respecting old things at the same time. It's like a perfect balance, and the fact that Bloober Team was able to pull this off is absolutely phenomenal. My one hope is that this game sells really well. It's already got great reviews, but hopefully it gets the sales as well, because the one thing I've seen lately in AAA survival horror games is the big titles outside of Resident Evil just don't sell well. I hope people can get out there and support this game, because it deserves it. It's absolutely amazing, and I'm still trying to get all the endings, so I'll let you know when I get them all that, because I feel like I'm going to have a video showcasing that eventually later on. But nonetheless, as I like to say, that is my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion. How did you feel about Silent Hill 2 Remake if you have played it? Were you shocked how good it was? Were you skeptical and then played it and realized, oh crap, this is really good? And if there is something maybe didn't resonate with you, let me know. I want to hear all your thoughts and opinions. But that is going to be it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully I can see you guys back in the next one. But before I leave, I just want to say this. It's been a long time, but welcome back, Silent Hill. Hopefully you'll stay for a while.